Since having the scan and having this whole ordeal happen, I've had quite a few people reach out to me that have had similar stories, except they weren't so lucky to catch it ahead of time. My name is Ryan Crownholm, and a Prenuvo scan saved my life. I was in the military in Bosnia and the Balkans in the 90s, and then after I got out, running a demolition company. And who knows, asbestos, silica, there's all types of lead. There was a lot of things we were exposed to, more than most people. So that's what eventually led me to Prenuvo. It's an MRI scan that uses AI and lots of proprietary technology to detect over 500 different conditions. My wife encourages me to be weird with my health.
Yeah, he decided he wanted to be one of the first people when they opened the LA office to do it because he's a health hacker, a biohacker.
I was one of the first people at the Los Angeles location, and I scheduled it a couple months in advance.
Literally, Prenuvo has saved his life.
You walk into Prenuvo, it felt like I was walking into like a high-end spa. They have a coffee and tea and cookies and friendly faces, and watch a show during your scan. It was 45 minutes and I was done, and it was great. I really had no expectations of finding anything.
When you're healthy, you don't think about reasons that you wouldn't be healthy, especially if you feel good and especially when your blood markers are good.
To me, it was just going to be another data point, something to look at. And my doctor was the first one to get his hands on the report. My doctor was calling me. He called me like 5 times in an hour, and I was in a meeting. And I called him back, and he said, they found something, and it's very concerning.
We were standing in the kitchen when Ryan was like, hey, you remember that scan that I had? I'm like, yes. He's like, so the doctor called a bunch of times today. I have this really large mass on my kidney. And I'm like, okay.
I had no symptoms. There's no reason why I would have looked specifically at my kidney.
You feel it when you have back pains or when you have blood in your urine and different things like that. But up until that point, and that's a terminal point, you don't feel anything. And so I love that Prenuvo allows you to go inside your body, and it's just a really powerful tool.
I had asked the surgeon whether or not it was worth it to go in and do a biopsy to see whether in fact it was cancerous. And it was anything over 3 centimeters was about a 95% chance of being malignant. Mine was 8.5 centimeters, and so I was a little nervous about that, but we went in and took it out. And when they tested it, in fact, it did come back that it was, it was actually a stage 3 cancer.
It's beyond scary. I kind of broke down because you're like, wait a second, what if it's worse than what we thought it was? What if it's spread farther? What does that look like for our family?
My wife was very scared, and my son, I think, had a lot of questions, but sometimes in a time of crisis is when I snap into a very different mode of just okay, what do we have to do to take care of this? I'm just grateful that Prenuvo came up with this, and there's not really anything else in the market that's anywhere near it.
I tried to not let my emotions really affect him, but I think he was consoling me more.
I think there's been a recentering maybe a little bit in our marriage, and just remind ourselves of how fortunate we are. For me to catch it so early, it's been a blessing. It was really simple as having my kidney removed and going on with my life. My name is Ryan Crownholm, and this is my Prenuvo story.